As the episode starts, we begin on a mesa planet filled with canyons and mines that give off a very western feel. The batch land their shuttle and begin heading towards a mine not too far away belonging to Sid. Their mission is simple yet possibly deadly, as they are tasked with acquiring ipsium, a valuable but explosive mineral when in its raw state, as noted by Tech. Before heading into the mines, they notice a storm on the horizon, a storm they encounter later on. Regardless, they continue on with their assignment, where Tech and Hunter go into the mines to attain the ipsium, while Wrecker and Omega stay outside the entrance to watch the marauder. However, to their dismay, the ship is stolen by a masked and mysterious thief, and as Tech and Hunter meet back up with the others after retrieving the mineral, Wrecker and Tech begin arguing about the ship being stolen, with Tech telling him that he should have been watching the ship, and Wrecker defending himself by saying Tech should have parked it at a more visible location, to which Tech responds by saying it was the only suitable location. Nonetheless, after this major upset, Tech scans a spaceport 40 clicks south from their current location and recommends they find transport there. As a result, they begin their trek and on their way, with Wrecker carrying the crate of ipsium vials. Omega attempts to contact Echo using her communication device, but to no avail. Tech informs her that Echo had turned his communications off, assuming he's on a sensitive mission. Hunter stops them after feeling vibrations in the ground, indicating an incoming stampede, and uses a grappling hook of sorts to hang onto the side of an arch in the canyon until the stampede passes. Following that, they notice the storm approaching closer, and with that, it registers in their minds that the storm is the reason for the stampede. Anyhow, they continue on, locating another mine and heading into it as they are nearly swallowed up by the storm. They take refuge in the caverns, waiting for the storm to pass, and see the crate of ipsium lost in the storm before being blasted back after it explodes and causes rocks to collapse, trapping them in the mine. As they start trying to clear the passage of the rocks and boulders, Omega and Tech begin discussing the marauder, with Tech stating that they most likely lost the ship forever. This upsets Omega, and she believes there's still hope to recover it, resulting in Tech stating that the ship was merely a mode of transportation and they can always obtain another. Omega stresses that the marauder was their home, and I think this whole scene really reinforces the idea that Tech only thinks literally, similar to a robot or a droid, and lacks most emotion, or at least doesn't show it. Omega continues by reminding Tech that they already lost Echo and Crosshair before that, to which Hunter says that Echo and Crosshair chose to leave and that they're on different paths now. Omega exclaims that they should be with them as they are a squad and a family, but Tech interjects by asking Omega what her issue is. This very inquiry greatly upsets Omega and results in her leaving the chamber they are all currently in and walking down a different path in the mine to be alone for a while. As she lays down to rest in one of the tunnels, she eventually wakes up to a glowing light in the distance, shining through an aperture in the passage's back wall. She notices that it's a vein of ipsium as she gets closer and retrieves her drill to begin collecting the sample. However, to her surprise, the wall collapses to reveal an entire chamber of ipsium. Back in the entrance chamber of the mine, as Hunter, Tech, and Wrecker continue moving rocks out of the way, Tech suggests that they could use the ipsium to blow a hole in the rock to clear the entrance so they can escape. Wrecker says Tech should be the one to locate more ipsium, as he made the mistake of dropping it as they entered the cave. Furthermore, Hunter tells Tech that this isn't the only mistake he needs to fix, referring to the situation with him and Omega. He obliges and says that he'll talk to Omega when he finds her, on his way to finding more ipsium to use in their escape. Once Tech finds Omega, he discovers the large deposit of ipsium Omega was able to locate, and they begin filling the remaining vials with as much as the mineral as possible. Though, as Omega is filling the final vial, she attempts to reach the vein, but ultimately fails and falls into the aqueduct below. Without hesitation, Tech jumps in after her, and they flow down to an underground lake of sorts. Hunter senses that something is off and attempts to reach Tech and Omega via the comlink, but they do not respond, resulting in Hunter and Wrecker trying to follow the path the other two took, leading to the rift of ipsium. Hunter is eventually able to reach them on the comlink, as Omega and Tech make it to a bank near the underground lake. As they are waiting for Hunter and Wrecker to meet them below, Omega notices a light shining through a wall nearby. She informs Tech of this discovery, and this time they are sure it's a way outside, as opposed to another large vein of ipsium. Tech contacts Hunter and informs him of their uncovering, telling him and Wrecker to bring the gear Tech and Omega left up there, including the satchel of vials containing the raw ipsium. Meanwhile, as Omega and Tech sit and wait, Omega says that they don't have any help from Echo and they're still missing the marauder, to which Tech replies by stating that they do not need help and they will figure out a solution as they always do. Still upset and confused at Tech's attitude towards the situation, Omega tells him that everything is changing and that he doesn't seem to care at all. Tech says he isn't sure how he should care, as change is a fundamental part of life, once again showing his seeming lack of emotion due to his special mutation of superior intellect, and as a result of that, taking everything in a literal sense without stopping to put much emotion behind anything. Becoming a little more frustrated, Omega reminds Tech that Echo left and asks him why it doesn't bother him that one of his family members, in Omega's eyes, left. Continuing the much needed talk between the two, Tech states that he is aware that she misses Echo, but also believes that they have to move on as they are soldiers. She says that they are more than that and that they are a family, asking Tech if he agrees. After a little thought, Tech agrees that they are indeed a family, and finally, Omega questions Tech by asking why he doesn't act like they are. In this moment, we see Tech really take into consideration the question Omega just asked him, and he responds by telling her that Echo and Crosshair took a different path, as mentioned earlier, and even though he processes thoughts differently than most, it does not mean that he fails any less, revealing a new side of himself we haven't seen before, and really developing his character more than episode 4 did. Finally, as Wrecker and Hunter arrive with the ipsium, they are able to escape after Tech places a vial near the wall and shoots a precise shot, revealing an exit in the midst of the explosion. Upon arrival at the spaceport they discovered earlier, they notice that no one is there and that the place seems to be abandoned. However, fortunately, Tech finds a communications array and says that he can use it to send out a long-range transmission to Sid. As they manage to contact Sid, she tells them that she can't help as she is busy at the moment. Hunter reminds her that she was the one who sent them on the mission, to which she replies by saying that she didn't tell them to get their ship stolen. Omega pleads with her, insisting that she helped them, and Tech adds that they helped her get her parlor back on Ord Mantell after the situation with Roland Durand, and that they cleared her debt with Malegi. She groans and tells them to give her a few days to see what she can do. However, Hunter interrupts and tells her that they don't have enough rations to last a few days, but she abruptly cuts off the transmission. The episode ends with Wrecker questioning what they're going to do now, to which Omega tells him that they'll figure it out as they always do, glancing over at Tech with a smile, to which he smiles back at her with compassion, finally showing us his emotions. Anyhow, that's it for the episode, and I think next week we'll continue this story as a small arc, and perhaps find out if they get the Marauder back or a new ship entirely, most likely the former though. Have a great day. See ya.